We are just days away from Tears of the Kingdom, and I could not be more excited. It's no secret that Skyward Sword is very important to the story of this game. It's painfully obvious from the trailers, so I had to go back in time and finally finish this game that I had put off for about 15 years. In doing so, I found that it's even more important than we realize. Let's find out why. So this is footage of me defeating Demise for the first time 2 days before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. While doing this battle, something clicked, and I noticed some very specific details that connect to the trailers that we have seen for Tears of the Kingdom, and I believe might offer some hints as to what's going on. I want to be very clear, this is a leak-free channel, and I do not have access, nor have I seen any leaks of Tears of the Kingdom. Before I get into my theories, though, let's touch on why it's taken me so long to actually finish this game. The only reason that I skipped Skyward Sword when it was originally released is because it was on the Wii. I despised the Wii mode, I did not like motion controls, I consider myself an old school gamer, and I simply want to just press buttons to control Link. I believed that Nintendo even releasing a remaster of Skyward Sword indicated that it was important for their next major release. When we saw footage of Link diving from the sky and islands floating in the sky, even in the earliest trailers, it was very obvious that Skyward Sword was an inspiration for that content. I actually really enjoyed playing Skyward Sword, and it was completely unintentional that I forgot to finish it. I finished 95% of Skyward Sword, and then I found myself missing 2 heart pieces, and then I began procrastinating, figuring out which ones I had not gotten. And next thing I know, over a year has passed and we are less than a week away from the Tears of the Kingdom release. If you have young children, this is a very familiar conundrum. So, almost a year later, without touching my save file, here we are facing off against Demise after I figured out which 2 heart pieces I was missing. Because of such a long delay and the fact that I'm so unpolished, my strategy was to simply cheese this by using an invincibility potion and get as many sword swings as I possibly could, knowing that I would get hit. While doing this battle, it dawned on me that there are actually some very subtle hints, even in this fight, as to what may be going on with Tears of the Kingdom and where it draws its inspiration from. The Master Sword has always looked very consistent in its final, powered-up form across all eras of Zelda, whether it be Link to the Past, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, or even Breath of the Wild. In Tears of the Kingdom footage, we see that that's not the case this time around. And the only comparison we really have is a brief scene in Breath of the Wild where it appears to be slightly damaged, but mostly the same. A very important detail at the conclusion of Skyward Sword is the fact that Demise is sealed inside the Master Sword, and in doing so, he has largely remained there throughout every single game in the history of Zelda that has the Master Sword. Also, Fi is sealed in the sword as well at the end, and there's actually a subtle reference to that upon completion of the Master Trial DLC in Breath of the Wild. But where am I going with all of this? When I was battling him, and I thought about the images that I've seen of the Master Sword in Tears of the Kingdom that is broken, I thought that it looked a lot like Demise's sword. It's a very obvious and logical conclusion that Demise has possibly escaped from the sword as a result of it breaking. But I think that the broken part of the sword resembling Demise's sword so much might actually be a subtle detail, and it has caused my imagination to run wild. The other mysterious element in this trailer is how the new tools that Link has access to that replace the Sheikah Slate kind of look like a corrupted arm. It is a little uncharacteristic for Zelda. I question if the future of the series of Zelda is truly just repetitively defeating iterations of Ganon until we all grow old. I believe that Tears of the Kingdom might be setting up a finality to this Ganon saga, and we might be setting up the potential of a new future of Zelda that involves new villains. In order to move on, we have to defeat Ganondorf in a way that is unique and final. And I believe that Demise coexisting in this story might actually be able to accomplish that. Now here's where I'm going to go really outside the box and probably very incorrect. What I think is happening here is somewhat of an unholy alliance between Link and Demise, and to an extent Fi, all coming together as somewhat of a gray Jedi to make a Star Wars comparison. As long as Demise is just chilling inside the Master Sword, Ganondorf will always come back. So there has to be some sort of a key event that breaks that cycle. And as the wielder of the sword, Link essentially has this darkness within him. What if, in a split from tradition, the theme of this game is actually embracing that darkness and wielding it to be more powerful? What if also by doing so, Link somehow finds a way to either control Demise from here on out or purge him entirely from the sword? When you really start to think about these kind of possibilities, there is a lot of ways that this could go. I do believe that by the end, the Master Sword will be fully restored, and that Demise will no longer be lurking inside of it. Or I'm just another bum on YouTube whose opinion is completely wrong and could not be further from the truth. I want to hear from you though. Please chime in the comments section if you have any fun ideas on where we're headed in Tears of the Kingdom story-wise. If this is your first time visiting my channel and you're not a subscriber, I'm very thankful for giving me a chance. And I'm going to include a video as to why you should stick around and come back. Subscriber growth is absolutely key to the future and success of this channel, and I'm extremely thankful to every single one of you who have done so. Also linked is a very fun video that I will cherish forever. Have you ever wondered if a 4-year-old can defeat Ganon? Well, look no further. Until next time, friends, I really appreciate you stopping by.